my lovelies. It's Delores here, coming to you from sunny Manitoba, Canada. You're listening to Creative Juggle Joy, where we talk about the real behind the scenes of running a creative business and still finding joy in the process. Today's episode is all about planning ahead. Not the stressful kind, but the kind that actually feels really, really good. Because for the first time ever, I have the entire year, all of 2026 mapped out, and it feels amazing. Last year, I made a real effort to plan ahead. I remember sitting down with my iPad, a big mug of coffee, and thinking, okay, let's just try to see 6 months ahead. But, of course, life happened. Everything kind of got mixed up, launches shifted, collaborations popped up, and before I knew it, I was back in reaction mode. And I remember looking back at that outline that I had written, and I hadn't even looked at it for 2 months. So still, that partial plan actually helped me because in my mind, I knew exactly how I wanted the year to pan out. So it turned out to be gold because this year I could look back and actually see a rhythm where things worked, where students had energy, and where I actually needed more breathing room. I tried to record things in my planner, so things that happened, anything that popped up, what I was working on specific days, and that kind of hindsight when I was doing this planning this week gave me the confidence to map out everything for 2026. Every class, every challenge, every workshop. Putting that all down on paper for the first time felt like exhaling after holding my breath for 2 years. One of the best parts has been realizing our programming is finally solid. We've got this great cadence now. Our big cornerstone offers like Bloom and Repeat for mastering surface pattern design, the 2-5 card challenges that we do, the template club releases, the Thrive sessions, my 3 major courses, they all flow naturally now through the year. We've nailed the rhythm. Instead of constantly reinventing and trying to work it out, we're now at the stage where we're refining. This will be the second full year of running this schedule, which we kind of had started the year before that. And so I really think we've got it worked out. And gosh, it just feels so peaceful. It also helps my team, especially Kaylee. Now she can plan all of the marketing calendar months ahead. So she knows exactly what's coming up. And she can now fit in new clients because she knows when I'll need her the most. So this is really fun for both of us to see. And for us, it is just less chaos and more clarity. That predictability is something every creative entrepreneur dreams about. Trust me, I have been chasing that carrot for years. You know, when we've run creative businesses for a while, we realized planning isn't about restriction. Honestly, at first I was really kind of hesitant to do it because I felt like, that feels like work. Like I'm going to have to, work around a schedule. But in the end, that routine to me is all about freedom. It gives me breathing space. It helps me create with a rhythm. It helps me create without panic. It helps me serve my students the way I want to and not just react to what's next. That's what I'm most excited about for 2026, honestly. And right now I'm in full recording mode to probably most of January. I'm going to batch at least 6 months worth of content. I can't go too far ahead because I know my 2 main programs, Procreate and Affinity Designer, are planning major updates, especially on the iPad. So I'm kind of not getting too far ahead, but I think that will really help me open up more time later in the year and also give me time for the art licensing and portfolio work that I've been wanting to do and working on for the last few months. and even give me some slow afternoons of sketching or drawing or creating projects just for fun. I have even scheduled in a week of holiday, if you can believe it. This kind of creative play I have to do when I'm in the mood, and I think that the way I have things scheduled, I can do some of those things. All the things I've been dreaming about, I can start to put into play because I've got everything else kind of worked out. Of course, no plan is perfect, I'm sure, especially with the tech involved. And especially with those two major upgrades to Procreate and Affinity Designer, I know that those are things that could throw me a curveball, but you know what? At least I've kind of got it in the back of the mind that it could be something, and I'm more mentally prepared for it than if it just came up without me knowing about it. You know what I mean? It makes recording tricky, but I can still record with the old version, and I can then do just little updates possibly to show things that have changed. But I think in a way, it makes it really exciting for the students as well, because everybody's waiting. I'm not the only one waiting for this new software to come out. So I can be helping them prepare. And it's exciting that I can work on Affinity 3 on the desktop, which I haven't really taken a lot of time to do in Affinity Designer in general. So because I can work on the desktop, I'm thinking that's going to give me a whole new outlook, and I'll be really prepared when it comes to the iPad. It's going to be really awesome from what I can see and what has changed in it on the desktop. I think it really is going to become an industry leader. Millions of people have downloaded it. I heard that last week, 3 million people or something. So I think there's a few people coming over to the dark side, and I'm excited. I'm actually really proud to be teaching it. So glad that I did all the work with Colleen Underwood 2 years ago. Then together we created the Affinity Designers Foundations course. And I don't think we realized at the time how central it would become. Now, everything from advanced classes that I'm doing, alumni classes that I did for Foundations, and the template club, all of that ties back to that early work. It's proof for me, I know, that good groundwork really pays off. So this new level of organization doesn't mean that I'm busier. So that's one of the things about a schedule and having it all mapped out that I'm really loving. It helps me to just be more strategic. There's a lot less anxiety for me moving into this year, and I'm really excited, like pumped. I can look at this year and think, I know what's coming up. I know what's happening in March. I know what's happening in June. I know what's happening in October. And that gives me space to breathe again. And I'm not just randomly filling time with projects that I think I might need. I'm not chasing deadlines anymore. I'm walking towards them at a comfortable pace. And for both me and Kaylee, since we're still in the growing stages of our businesses, this structure will really help us serve our people better. We can plan the launches successfully and thoughtfully. We can deliver consistent content, and we'll still have time for the rest of our lives, our family, and our rest. And for me, I know I need time for the projects, for the creation, for really digging deep into the illustration work that I do and selling it myself, doing my own thing, my art licensing. That has really been the core of everything that I teach. That is definitely a big focus for me for 2026, the art licensing. That's something I've been quietly building behind the scenes. I have left the services of one agent behind, and I am going to pursue pitching on my own. So I have been working on a fresh portfolio, new collections, and getting everything together so that I can do that pitching on my own. I've been getting some wonderful coaching through Vanessa's Art Business with Ness Bootcamp, which is a year-long mentorship for people who are moving into art licensing or reigniting their art licensing. It has been a really great way to just keep me on track. And to me, it feels like coming full circle. It's like back to the artist part of me. I started in art licensing without having an agent and without ever knowing or understanding anything about pitching. It was dropped in my lap, honestly, just a chance meeting with some people at a craft sale, an art market I was in. Those people owned some Hallmark stores, and I got my first art licensing contract without even knowing what art licensing was all about. And now, having taught for years and having built a school and supported thousands of students, now I can finally get some time to pour some energy back into my own thing. I think it makes me feel more legitimate, and I like the validation of being able to sell my own work. I do have another agent that sells my large abstract work, and I also do sell direct through a couple of places, Cardile being one of my favorites. But I think pitching to new clients is going to be super fun and will put me in the same shoes as all of you out there who are trying to make a living selling your art. And I think every creative deserves that. Every creative deserves to have a plan that supports both their businesses that they're running and their art practice. Not one or the other, but for me, it's both. If you're listening and you're thinking, well, I don't have time to plan my whole year. That's me last year and that year before. I totally get it. I mean, really, you can start small. And I think when I look back now, I did start and I started small. So I didn't have a color-coded spreadsheet. I didn't have anything even on paper in most cases. I just kind of had rough dates of when I was going to be doing particular things. But if you were to take just an hour and grab a notebook or grab a calendar, write down what you already know. Write down things like the seasons you love to create in. Write down projects that you definitely want to do. Write down some times that you know you'll need a break. I think that was one of my big mistakes too, was not putting in those periods when I should have planned for time to go to the lake or time to take a trip. I hadn't planned those in. So then sometimes they just didn't happen because I felt too pressured at the time to take the time. So just put in some of the things that you know. And that's a bit of a plan, right? Even a rough one helps. I actually have a free goal planner that you can download, and I was looking at it the other day because I'm kind of looking ahead to Procreate Foundations that's coming up in the spring, and this is one of the things that I give as part of the course, and I have within it all the spaces where you can do this planning, and also there's a calendar there, and you can download additional pages for it if you want to do your whole year up. So I'm going to put the link for the free goal planner. It's something I usually just give away through Procreate Foundations, but I'd love for you to take a look at it. I think it's a pretty simple one. It's a great starting point for you. If you fill it out, even roughly, you're going to start to see your year take shape. And, put in things like training or classes you might be considering taking. Put those things in there so that you feel as though you're allowing yourself that time for development. Remember that these are not New Year's resolutions. They're not written in stone. They're not about perfection. They're about direction. Plans evolve, and they should evolve. But writing them down is the first act of committing to yourself. This time for me always feels like a clean slate. I love that I'm wrapping up my foundations course. I don't really have anything other than making projects and recording. And so this is a good time for me to just sort of feel like the load has been lifted off my shoulders. It's about building on what's already working. That's what experience gives you. Granted, I have had years of this, but what this gives me is a look back at finding patterns and proof and just general peacefulness, that feeling of, you know what, this is working. So if you've been putting off your planning, take it from me. It's really, really worth it. It changes how you work, it changes how you rest, and it changes how you feel about moving forward with your business. And I know some of you may not even be planning a business per se, but maybe just in the back of your mind, there's that little spark there and you want to explore it. Why not just take the time to, even if it's your dreams and plans for something that could happen, why not put those down on paper? I think you'll start to see how everything connects, how anything that you're doing, all of your creative energy, maybe your marketing rhythm, your joy, if you're doing things like launches, it'll help you when you see it on paper. It stops feeling like chaos and it starts feeling like a design. And that to me is the best part. Thanks so much for listening today. If you'd like that free goal planner I mentioned, you can find it in the show notes. And as always, keep creating, keep juggling, and most importantly, keep finding joy in the process.